In a set of n successive polarizers, the mth polarizer makes an angle m pi divided by 2n with the vertical. A vertically polarized light beam of intensity I naught is incident onto such set with n is equal to n1 and n is equal to n2, where n2 is greater than n1. Let the intensity of light beam coming out be In1 and In2 respectively. Which of the following statement is correct about the two outcoming beams? So, in this question, they have given a n number of successive polarizers and a vertically polarized beam is passing through the polarizers. So if we have a n such set of polarizers, the intensity of the transmitted beam will be given by I of n is equal to I naught cos pi by 2n the whole power 2n. This formula can be used when we start the n value from 1, 2 and so on. In this question, they have asked us to find intensity of the transmitted beam from the polarizer N2 and N1 whose intensity is higher. First, we will find the intensity of transmitted beam from N1. Let us consider N1 is equal to 1, that is the first polarizer. Then I1 is equal to, substitute the N value is equal to 1 in this equation. Then we will be getting I1 is equal to 0. And next we assume n2 is equal to 2, then substitute n value is equal to 2 in this equation. We will be getting I of 2 is equal to I naught cos of pi divided by 2.2 the whole power 4. By simplifying it, we will be getting I2 is equal to 0.25. Therefore, we can say the intensity of transmitted beam from the second polarizer is greater than the first polarizer. Now, if we see the option B and option D are incorrect. The answer is either option A or option C. We have to check with the polarization now. In the question, they have given with the vertical, the mth polarizer makes an angle of m pi by 2n. That is theta is equal to m pi divided by 2n. Now, if we take the last polarizer, the m value will be equal to n. Now, substitute m value is equal to n in the theta value. Then we will be getting theta is equal to pi divided by 2. Therefore, if we take the first polarizer angle as a vertical, then with the last polarizer, it makes an angle of pi by 2. That is, it must be horizontal. Therefore, the light beam that is passing through the last polarizer will be horizontal. Therefore, if you check the option, the option is answer C. An infinitely long wire parallel to x-axis is kept at z is equal to d and carries a current I in the positive x direction above a superconductor filling the region z less than or equal to 0. The B vector inside the superconductor is 0, so the field just outside the superconductor is parallel to the surface. The magnetic field due to this configuration at a point x, y, z greater than 0 is. So in this question they have given a infinite long wire that is being kept along the z axis and it carries a current of I and they have kept a superconductor at a distance of d from the wire. We know the property of superconductor. Inside the superconductor the field is 0. If that is, it repels the magnetic field and they have asked us to find what is the magnetic field at a point x, y, and z value is positive. So now we have to consider some point and we have to find the magnetic field. So now I consider the x value can be any value, y can also be any value, but I consider z value in such a way that the magnetic field at that point is 0. That is, even z value is equal to d, the magnetic field, that means I consider a point on the superconductor. So at that point the magnetic field must be 0. Therefore, now if I take one of the four option and I consider z is equal to d, substitute z is equal to d, at that point the magnetic field will be 0. So then that must be the answer. Therefore, at the point z is equal to d, the magnetic field is 0. So now take the option B and substitute z is equal to d. You will be end up with B is equal to 0. Therefore, answer is option B.
Question: the vector potential inside a long solenoid with n turns per unit length and carrying current I is written in the cylindrical coordinates. A is equal to s comma psi comma z is equal to mu naught ni divided by 2 s psi. If the term mu naught ni by 2 s into alpha cos psi cap plus beta sin psi s cap, where alpha and beta are not equal to 0, is added to A vector, the magnetic field remains same. If option A, alpha is equal to beta, option B, alpha is equal to minus beta, C, alpha is equal to 2 beta, option D, alpha is equal to beta divided by 2. In this question, they have given the vector potential of a solenoid in a cylindrical coordinates. Okay, and they have added another term to the vector potential, and they have said the magnetic field is same even before the addition and after the addition, and they have asked us to find what is the value of alpha and beta so that the magnetic field remains same. So first we will write the given magnetic field of the solenoid, that is A is equal to mu naught ni divided by 2 s into psi cap. So first we will solve it by determinant form and find what is the value of magnetic field, that is 1 by s cap, s psi cap, z cap, dou by dou s, dou by dou psi, dou by dou z. Here will be the s component of the vector potential and the psi component of the vector potential, and here z component. If you see the vector potential given in the question, it has only the psi component. So s component and z component will be 0. So substitute the value 0 here and substitute the value of psi component here. By solving the matrix, we will be getting the magnetic field as B vector is equal to mu naught ni z cap. Now we will add the another vector potential term to the first one, and so the new vector potential A1 is equal to mu naught ni by 2 s into psi cap. This is the older one, and this is a new vector potential, that is mu naught ni by 2 s into alpha cos psi cap plus beta sin psi z cap. So we can combine these two terms and take the mu naught ni by 2 outside. So we will be getting mu naught ni by 2 into s plus s alpha cos psi cap plus s beta sin psi s cap. Now this is the psi component of vector potential and this is the s component. Here the newly added A1 doesn't have the z component, is not there. So the new magnetic field B1 is equal to curl of the vector potential, that is 1 by s. Here I am not using the determinant form to find, I am using the another way. 1 by s dou a z by dou psi minus dou a psi by dou z s cap plus dou a s by dou z minus dou z component by dou s psi cap plus 1 by s dou by dou s into psi component of a minus dou s component of a by dou z into z cap. Now we know it doesn't have the z component, is not there, only psi component and s component is there. By substituting the a psi and a z component here and simplifying it, we will be getting mu naught ni into 1 plus alpha cos psi minus beta by 2 cos psi z cap. So in the question they have said before addition and after addition the magnetic field remains same. Therefore B is equal to B1. Then we can equate the first magnetic field, that is mu naught ni z cap with the mu naught ni 1 plus alpha cos psi minus beta by 2 cos psi. By equating it we can cancel this mu naught ni and mu naught ni. So we will be getting one is equal to 1 plus alpha cos psi minus beta by 2 cos psi. So 1 and 1 will get cancels off. Therefore, alpha cos psi is equal to beta by 2 cos psi. Then finally we will be getting alpha is equal to beta by 2. Therefore, answer is option D. Question: consider a system of 3 charges as shown in the figure. For r is equal to 10 meter and theta is equal to 60 degree, q is equal to 10 raised to minus 6 coulomb, d is equal to 10 raised to minus 3 meter. The electric dipole potential in volts is dash. So in this question they have given a 3 charges that are arranged in the 3 different positions, and they have asked us to find what is the value of electric dipole moment in r comma theta, that is polar coordinates. They have asked us to find at a position r is equal to 10 meter. So the electric dipole moment can be obtained by using the formula V r comma theta is equal to, for polar coordinates, the formula is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught P dot r cap divided by r square. So here we have to find what is the dipole moment and r cap. First we will calculate the dipole moment. First we will consider the charge minus q along the plus y axis. So charge is minus q by 2 and the position vector is d into y cap. And next we consider the charge along minus y axis. That is, charge is minus q by 2 and the position vector is d into minus y cap, as it is along the minus axis. Next charge is this one along the z axis. Q into d into z cap is dz cap is the position vector. Now by simplifying this we will be getting the dipole moment as P is equal to q into dz cap. Now we have to find the r cap. Unit vector is equal to r vector divided by mod of r. That is, for polar coordinates it will be r cos theta z cap plus r sin theta y cap. Root of r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta. By simplifying this we will be getting cos theta z cap plus sin theta y cap. Now we have obtained the dipole moment and the unit vector. Now we have to substitute in the formula to find the electric dipole moment. V r comma theta is equal to, for 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught we can write 9 into 10 raised to 9 into q d z cap dot cos z cap plus sin y cap. So by simplifying divided by r square. By simplifying this dot product we will be getting q d cos theta divided by r square. Now we know that in the question they have given the value of q, d and theta. By substituting the values we will be getting electric dipole moment as 0.045. In the description box you can find solution for GATE Physics 2020 and 2019 question papers. Please share and subscribe the channel. If you have any queries, write in the comment section.